All right. Well, I say let's get started. This all gets recorded and we take lots of good notes. So we'll post this. We'll share it with everybody on our group here. Never know what kind of crowd you're going to get at a meeting. Usually we start out by asking folks to introduce themselves if they're new to the meeting. In this case, I think the three are new folks: Sudhir, Shashwat, Mayur. You're all IO Flow. So if you want, we could just wait till then. We'll let you introduce yourselves in a minute. I do want to share updates for anybody that watches this video, and for the folks that are on now, of course. KubeCon plans, we're pretty locked in for our Monday project meeting. There's still a little room for the Tuesday through Thursday booth. Tuesday afternoon, I'm proposing will be the folks that are in our panel. On Tuesday, will come to the booth afterwards, so we won't have lightning talks that day. But I'm trying still to get together a series of lightning talks for the Wednesday afternoon for 3 o'clock on Wednesday. Other news: Ouija Platforms released their maturity model, platform engineering maturity model, yesterday. It finally got merged, and a blog post is going out today. So that's really exciting. Check that out. I'm not going to go too much further in it because not that many people here right now. Other updates: Ouija Artifacts, operator framework in Carvel met this week to talk about potential synergies. They do very similar things in terms of bundling up a bunch of resources to be deployed. And I personally also had a meeting with the CNAB and Porter folks, and I'm trying to get them involved there too. So FYI. Yeah, I think that's all the updates for the week. So with that, we're gonna have IOFlow they're gonna present on IOFlow, which is a sandbox submission. It's number 447 in our repo. And Mayur and team, what we're looking for here is for you to tell us that the values that this project is going to bring to the users, the technical architecture, somewhat high level, I guess, but like give us an idea of how technically everything works. The roadmap in the near term, what you're thinking of doing, how your community is like, do you have participants and governance? And then last but not least, and we'll probably ask these questions, how does it relate or compare to existing projects? So yeah, Mayur, if you want to take it over, let me just note what time we're at. 6:36. Yeah, we'll flag this moment for the talk when they were reviewing the technical oversight committee when they review this video. So yeah, you're up, Mayur and team. But you're muted.
You're not audible, Mayur.
Sorry, yeah. So
Now
yeah,
you're,
audible now? Okay. So yeah, I will share my screen. So before that, I'll just introduce myself in brief. So I'm Mayur Yambal. So I'm from a company called IORO Systems. I'm a CPO who is taking care of the platform development and accelerators at IORO. So we are a 15-year-old service company based out of India. We are into cloud native application development using microservices, microfront and containerized applications for enterprises. Okay, so jump into the IO flow. I'll just share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it
Yep.
is.
Okay, let me just. Yes. So firstly, we'll go through what are the pain points or challenges which we are trying to solve with this IO Flow as a like workflow engine. Then we'll go through the solution and the actual features of the platform or the solution which we have built. And then we'll go through a quick demo and how it can be used by the developers and how it can be used in any enterprise applications as a process automation engine. Okay, so these are the basic challenges or pain points which any organization as a whenever they have their operations they face. One is basically the inefficiency in operations, and they have high operational cost, and the efficient operations are not there. Many things are manually done. Manual processes are there, so which introduces the inefficiencies and the wasting of time. Another thing, stakeholders don't have the visibility and the monitoring, so they don't have the proper visibility of the data or the insights or the processes which are happening in the organization, so that they cannot monitor the processes on some single dashboard or the central screen. Third is they face the scalability challenges, like the processes are not automated or not, most of the things are manually done. So they face the challenges in the scalability because many things are user dependent and those are not automated. So then there are lack of standardization because everything is user dependent. So they do it on their own, and there are no standard processes which are followed. So we are solving this problem of the standardization. Then there is a compliance and regulatory risk. As there are no automation or the system in place in most of the operations, then there is a chance that some data might get leaked or some compliance issues might happen. So this is one of the problem. And employee burnout and limited innovation might be another challenge, where lots of employee bandwidth is being consumed for those manual operational cost or the task. And then because of that, the strain happens on the employees, and there is no like time for the innovation kind of a thing. So these are some of the challenges which any organization while doing their business they face. So what we
Those
yeah.
challenges are kind of like all challenges around automation, like lack of automation leads to all these things. That's kind of what you're getting at.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. So what we are introducing is the solution for automation, which is a process automation or a workflow automation. So in this process automation, it is completely cloud native, open source technologies are used. It is microservice enabled and containerized. Then these are some of the core features which we have in the work IO flow. Like one is the intelligent task management. So all the task management happens through the system. We just need to specify what kind of a task are associated to what kind of a user roles. Then we have real-time updates so that people will get so the data available in real time. Whatever processes are happening in the backend, they can see the data around that in real time. There are smart dashboards available, so you can have a process mining, you can have a process optimization in place, or you can have the insights about the process, so you can optimize your processes. You can have improved monitoring, and it is a easy integration is available. There are lots of connectors available where we can have the ecosystem of connectors where we can connect those different systems inside our process. And there is a workflow orchestration, which is a core part of our workflow engine. So these are some of the four areas where we are more focusing on the process part. Like one is we can automate the processes where we are following the BPMN standards, and all the BPMN related activities are there which we support. Then there is a managing the processes basically. So when we automate the process, we need to manage the process. Like we need to configure those, we need to update those whenever possible, or we need to check what are the statuses and all about that. Then there is a monitor of process. So we need to check whether the process are failing, how many processes are failed, or how many instances are there in running, what are the time that processes are taking. So all those things comes under the monitoring. And then there is a optimize process. Like we recommend that these processes can be optimized. There are some insights which we are getting from the data which is being captured. And here we are following the object-centric event logs as well. Like these processes are associated to the objects, and we collect the data related to that objects. And then the data is available as the insights for process mining, and we can recommend the process optimizations as well here. So these are four main areas which we are focusing on in the IOflow as
first one. So automate processes, you actually have a designer, it sounds like a WYSIWYG designer or drag and drop designer.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'd almost, for what it's worth, I almost kind of look at number one as design or develop processes. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Okay. So these are some of the workflow or process elements which are standard and which are in the BPMN standards as well. Like we have the event kind of workflow elements where the start, end, and timer events are there. Then there are some activities like user task, system task, compound task, and there are some gateway elements where we have exclusive gateways, inclusive gateways, parallel gateways, dependency gateways, or conditional gateways as well. And on the right side, like along with the elements, basic elements, we have the custom connectors as well, which we have built. And we are adding more and more connectors into this connector ecosystem. So there is a REST connector, which is there. We can have any kind of a REST API connected into the process. So then there is a gRPC connector. Even if your services are in gRPC, we can support that as a connector in our ecosystem. Then there is a Python connector. You can just write a Python script, and that workflow itself will execute that Python script whenever it is required in that process. We have also introduced the OpenAI connector. If you have any GenAI kind of a use case in your workflow and you want to have some ChatGPT interface for some kind of inputs you can get from the OpenAI. Then there are command line interface connectors as well. Like we can run some commands like TCP commands, or we can have some kubectl or Kubernetes related commands if you want to build, so, or any kind of a terminal commands we can run here from the CLI. If we just need to have the executor for that CLI, if you want to have any library to be executed or the command library to be required to be executed, you can install that in the CLI connector. And there is a JavaScript connector. Like we can, as there is a Python, we have a JavaScript connector. You can write a small script of JavaScript, and that JavaScript will get executed along with the process. So these are all workflow elements. So what are the value proposition we are bringing here? There are two categories of users. Like one is the developer who will be actually using this system, and the for organizations or the enterprises for whom we are building the solutions on using this. So for developers, they can create the workflows. They can configure different elements in the workflow, like system task, user task, the different gateways. Then there is a timer support or all the configuration part basically. Then even if we can have a child workflows, we usually most of the workflow engines do not have this kind of a support where there is a like multi-level workflows are available. We have that kind of a feature implemented. It is BPMN compliant. We have a connector ecosystem, like manage instances of the workflows. We have a debugging capabilities. Then we record all the execution logs so that it is easy for developers to debug and get the logs whenever possible. There are assignee connectors. This is something for task management where we need to dynamically mention the IO flow that we want to assign this task to some particular user as per the business logic. So that connector itself can be customized as per the business solution, and we can add that as a workflow connector, and it can dynamically allocate those tasks. Then there is a monitoring capabilities. We have a execution statistics like insights and all. Bird eye view is also available for the developer who can monitor all those things, and documentation is available. For organization, like we are proposing that we can streamline your business processes. We can eliminate your inefficiencies in the operations or your day-to-day activities. You can save time. We can reduce your operational cost. This can reduce the resource utilization. It can be human resources, or it can be other infra resources. Or it can standardize your processes. It can monitor the processes in real time, so you can take your business decisions faster. It resolves the various issues involved in the operational processes. It can help you scale the operations. It will enhance your decision making so that you have the data available at your single dashboard. So it will enhance your decision making, and it improves. Yeah, it eliminates the risk about your business, and you can go scale with this kind of automation. And it ultimately it is going to enhance your customer satisfaction. So this is what this IOflow will bring values to the developer and the organization. Now quickly we'll go
Like how
through.
this
Yeah.
this that parallels the what you said at the beginning, the challenges and the pain points. So I'm just kind of putting those together in the notes.
Yeah, you can say. So we'll like jump to the quick demo. Like we'll walk through the repository, then how to use that for in from the developer perspective, and the quick workflow execution and Swagger documentation. Okay, Sudhir can share and walk us through that demo. Sudhir.
Yeah. Uh, Hi everyone. So myself Sudhir, and I'm a part of IOflow team, and I'm working as a software developer in Aero Systems. So let me share my screen. Yeah. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So this is one example. This is one workflow for hiring process. Okay.
Do you have a VS Code extension? Is that how this is all done?
No, it is on my local machine. So I'm showing.
So we
Okay.
can create it in Camunda modular as well, as it is BPMN compliant, and we have our own modular.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll
So
be quiet and
yeah. So this is just a visual representation. Yeah. So this workflow consists of three user tasks and two system tasks. That is, application received. This one is system task. Then send offer letter. This is also one system task. Screen resume, interview round one, final round. These three are user tasks. And we also have three gateways. So it is exclusive gateway. So there are three exclusive gateways added here. So just let me explain the workflow. So here, this is a user task, and he will enter some parameters or some values, that whether that resume is uh, qualifies the criteria or not. Okay. So in that case, he'll enter some parameters, and on the basis of those parameters, this gateway will get evaluated, and then the workflow will move to next stage. Same here. We also user will enter some parameters, and those parameters will get evaluated in this gateway. Okay. So this is the visual representation. We have its JSON representation. So that workflow will look like in JSON format, like this. So we have some properties here. Those properties will be the parameters that would require while creating or running that workflow. So I have added three parameters here: the name, job, and email ID. And there are elements, that workflow elements. We call it as stages. So each stage is nothing but one JSON or one object, and we have links between the stages by using these next stages array. Okay. So
why
this
JSON and not YAML? Is it compatible with YAML too? You just prefer JSON or
yes, it is in our plan that we are moving from JSON to, we are migrating to YAML. So it is in our
okay.
plan. Yeah. So let me execute it in Swagger. So in Swagger, we have this much APIs available. Process definition. So process definition is nothing but the template or the uh, it is a passive entity. So we store or we create workflows by using these APIs, and all those APIs are related to only process definition. Process instances are nothing but the actual instances or actual executed workflows. So we have APIs for process instances, and other APIs are for task. Like these are only for user task. So to complete or to get the user task, we need those APIs. Okay, so let's start. So I have added this workflow in our IO flow engine. So to execute it, I need to use its key. So key will be unique. Uh, and next, okay. So in process instances, I have an API called earn by using key. So as I mentioned, I have entered some required parameters in workflow. So I have to enter its value in this form. So name, job, and email ID. Okay. So if I execute it, let try to check it. Okay, so our
What did
engine is
you do
running
to
now,
execute it?
and
What did you do? Oh, you executed it by calling the API.
sorry, you are not audible. I mean,
Oh,
your
sorry,
voice
I
is
just
not clear.
I was just asking. You're executing it by calling the API. That's how you do it.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So I'm running it on my local machine.
So these backend microservices are available, and we can use those microservices as the execution workflow engine, and we can configure the workflow and execute that workflow from the REST APIs.
Got it. Does this? It's not. Doesn't have to be hosted in Kubernetes, right? Is that what I'm seeing? What
Yeah,
you're
so
saying?
it is. So it can be hosted. So it is a simple Nest.js application. So it can be containerized and hosted on Kubernetes as well. So right now he's running on the local machine.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
So I have executed that process definition, and the message is showing here. And in the response, we got instance ID, and I can show you the logs. So in logs, user task is now created. Okay, so we can check the status by using the instance details. So this is instance ID.
all of the are all of the tasks related to a process run in the same node, or does it delegate out like to new pods? No,
No,
there's
it
no pods.
is on same node. It is on same node.
So it's
So
just
yeah,
a fork of the current process or something,
yeah.
or a
So we
thread.
can have the multiple pods in the Kubernetes. So and it is using the Nest.js event executor basically. So it queues the request internally in each pod, and it balances the load between the multiple pods as the replication which we use in the Kubernetes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I got it.
Yes, so I have loaded its details. So this is our actual instance, running instance. So here the start stage is already executed, and the system task is also completed because it was set. I mean, auto flag was set to true, so that's why it is completed automatically. Next, we have one user task. So now user task is active. Okay, so its status will status is showing as active. So I can show you the actual user task directly into the database. So this is one user task is now added, and now user will going to complete that. So this task is nothing but the screen resume. So user will complete it by using process instance ID and its task ID. We have one API to complete that task. So by using process instance ID and then task ID. Okay. To complete that user task, we need to pass some parameters, and those parameters we also is that we defined in our definition. So here or in code I can show you. So in this screen resume task, we have defined one required parameter, that is qualified uh, parameter as qualified, and its data type would be boolean. So while completing that user task, I have to pass that parameter. So here I am passing the qualified and its value as true. So when I complete that user task, the workflow will automatically get moved to the next stage. So next stage is nothing but one gateway. So here you can see the logs. Okay. Now the gateway is also got evaluated, and after that gateway, next user task is now active. So after skin resume, this gateway is also got evaluated, and then interview round, this user task should have been created into the database. So now I refresh this, and here you can see the next user task as interview round one. For this user task, also we have to complete it by using instance ID and task ID. Here, the task comes under the same process instance, so that's why I'm not changing process instance ID, only task ID. So for this user task, the parameter is also same, that is qualified, task updated, and now
So you're doing all this through the Swagger UI. Can you also do it through
actually it is a integration part. So those APIs are available for developers, and those developers can use those APIs in their applications or some UIs.
is this the only interface that exists for invoking a workflow, or is there like a UI
Yeah,
for it also?
we have a like workflow editor as well in roadmap. So we will be releasing that soon. Yeah, so that editor is there in the work roadmap, so where we can create the workflows there itself and we can execute from there. So this kind of a interface, so we have already used this workflow engine in couple of enterprise executions in our service business basically. So it is this workflow is already being used in like one of the big telecom company in Europe, which is Telefonica. So in Telefonica, what we are doing is we are automating the alarm workflows. So whenever for their network operation center, so whenever the alarm is getting created, and we need to create the ticket to resolve that alarm by doing the correlation, alarm correlation, and after the correlation, we are triggering the this workflow to trigger the or to create the ticket or incidents. So there for them, we have used this as an open source engine. And on top of that, we have customized their like admin interfaces. We have given the UIs and other things as well. So some of that UI part, we are also going to open source for the workflow creation.
Nice.
Yes, so now this is the final task. I will just enter it. So here in gateway, we check its input values like this is exclusive gateway, and here we have checked the value. So if the qualified the parameter its value is true, then that satisfied on the basis of that satisfied result, it will go to this stage. Otherwise it will go to the default stage. Okay.
So this is the gateway. Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So it is same in all the gateways. So we have checked the conditions and we have mapped the parameters. Okay, now I am completing the last task. So it is also got executed. And now our workflow should go into the completed state. So I'll show you the logs here, data details here. Okay.
I guess
So
what, well, let me let you finish.
yeah, so here we have maintained its status and all the details like when it got activated, all those things. So now the status is completed, and this is the final state of the workflow.
Nice.
Yes.
So I guess, one of my questions, I asked about YAML before, but I guess a little more even like, have you thought of making these CRDs, Kubernetes, and
Mhm.
reporting the status in the status fields? The workflow would be described if you like in Kubernetes, you got a spec and status in every resource. So the spec would basically be the workflow as you've defined here, and then the status would have all these stats. It's just a common pattern, like that way, like if I, in a simple way, could just check the status if it's completed, um, rely on Kubernetes APIs for that. Have you thought about that?
Yes, yes. So right now we are like this is built for the business process automation. Uh, just a minute, give me a second.
Like I think of like Tecton. Like Tecton, you would spec out a
Yes.
number of steps. I mean, it's a little different the way it works, but and then there would be a status. So comparing that, could you make a CRD for IO flow workflows?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So that is possible here. So it is built for the business process automation, but right now we are exploring whether we can be like using it for the DevOps kind of automation as well, and another, as you mentioned, for the Kubernetes related processes as well. So we are
I see. So
exploring the DevOps as of now. So that is again that's there in the plan. We can definitely explore that as well.
yeah, I guess kind of related to that, like, so this is it's a nifty workflow engine. Why is it, I'm just gonna, try to channel what the technical oversight committee would ask. Why is this particularly cloud? Like I could use this, for any kind of business process,
Yes.
especially since you're emphasizing business process. Why do you think it's cloud native?
Yeah, so cloud native is basically, so we are using the cloud native technologies, like we are promoting it should be a containerized, it should be uh, like it should be Docker enabled, and it is scalable, applying all the cloud native principles, right? So that is, and it's based on that like architecture as well. Like if we, even if, as you mentioned about the scalability aspect, right? So we are using the multiple replication of the pods for the scalable architecture.
Got it. So you built you built IO flow with cloud native principles. It can scale, to many pods. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. For users, like I guess the users would be running business processes, though you're thinking more like this interview thing, not necessarily. I get that's what you were saying, business processes versus DevOps processes.
Yes, yes. So both, so our one of the main aim to build this workflow engine is like it make it a generic or global workflow engine. Like right now, if you see there are multiple workflow engines for multiple use cases. One is like
Mhm.
Airflow, we can see for the big data workflows. Another thing is Jenkins or Argo flows is for the DevOps kind of a use cases, and Camunda is for the BPMN. Right. So, but we are trying to do all the three in one single workflow engine, and that's possible in Kubernetes if we deploy it and if we leverage Kubernetes container architecture. It seems to be possible. We can have that kind of a single workflow.
Okay, yeah, interesting. I was thinking about Argo workflows and Captain. I think what you just said, I mean, I would say app delivery. Those are very oriented on app delivery flows or DevOps flows, if you want to say that. Yeah, Captain is very clearly like they have the application concept and all of the tasks revolve around, pre-application deploy, post-application deploy. Workflows, I guess a little bit more. Did you mention Airflow, Apache
Yeah.
Airflow?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So you see this as a little more generalized than them in the long term for BPMN first?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
As I
That
mentioned,
makes sense.
yeah. Another thing is like why we are trying to like do it on CNCF sandbox is basically we want to have the more contributors to this system, and it should be like increase the awareness, and it should be used in the open source community. That is what one. And one of the validation which we are which we wanted to get is from the CNCF as well as from the CNCF community as well, right? One validation we already got from our customers. So we are already deploying this to multiple customers. So some of the customers like Telefonica, Airtel in India. Then we have deployed it a couple of like startup ecosystem in India as well as in US. So, so it's already been validated by our service-oriented business. Like we have a services. So IORA is basically a service company. So we have built this as a just a like our contribution to the open source, and the we should get some validation and awareness from the open source community, and also it will help us validate this in our services as well. Like we can showcase this as our one of the contribution to the open source, and you can utilize this and you can deliver our applications to the service customers. So that's working. We are already delivering like 4 or 5 production applications now.
What's your company's name?
It's IORO, IAURO.
AURO. Okay, got it. Yeah, that's good to know. It's kind of under community and the health of the project and the maintainability of it. So that, yeah, we ask about that. Are there any other companies that are contributing to it, or just users?
Yeah, so right now, whatever companies we have delivered to, so their developers are already using it. So they are also contributing, and they are maintaining the system as well. Once we deliver it, they maintain it. Right, so
Got it.
that is one of the users, but we wanted to like increase the contribution more. So we are trying to do some awareness sessions as well in the public domain. So the contribution will increase more.
I had another question. For monitoring, do you emit open telemetry stuff by
Yes.
default?
Yeah, so we are having integration with OpenTelemetry right now. So we are it's already in progress. Uh, it's not yet open source, but yeah, definitely we'll publish that as a like open source repository as well.
Oh, you mean it's like an external piece?
No, so it's right now in the like we are doing the implementation of that. So then once that is done, then we'll definitely add that in our current repository.
Got it.
Yeah.
And another thing which is kind of related to you is CD events. Those are a little more oriented to the app delivery aspect. But I'm just wondering if you could make sure that, like, if you have events like on start or on end or on timer, which fit one of these, it would be great if you know, followed their spec.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
It's not a
Definitely, I mean,
requirement. We're
yeah.
encouraging projects to adopt both of those. Well, last question for me is, can I get a copy of this deck to include in the write-up?
Yes, definitely. We'll share that.
Sweet. Yeah. Now, others who has questions? I had a lot of questions, but
I feel like you're asking all the questions that we're thinking about, so thank you.
sorry, I need to let other people ask them too.
That was a great
Um,
overview. Really appreciate it. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to interrupt.
I was gonna say, do we want to talk about here whether the tags recommendation on this, that's kind of a new practice. We've mostly just listened to you, ask questions, and then shared it with the oversight committee to make a decision, but they do sometimes ask us for recommendations. I'm just wondering what the group here feels, if we should try to get a sense of consensus or just leave it. Leanne, can't hear you, but I want to hear what.
Okay, can you hear me now? Oh wait, my mic was muted. I was just saying that. Okay, that I think it would be good to share it in the Slack channel as well with the notes, so and the recording for people who were not able to see it. Yeah.
For sure.
Can you also share I think the talk gave us send a doc with, you know, the things they were looking at, they were reviewing for sandbox projects, you remember?
Which one, the annual reviews or the general criteria?
Yeah, I think it was for well, I'm looking for the criteria specifically, but they sent it to us while we were talking about the annual reviews.
Yeah.
It was linked in like GitHub issues or projects or something like that. That would be helpful to also share the two together, because I don't know exactly what they were looking at specifically. I know it's like it has to do with like project maturity and market fit. I think those were some of the questions. Yeah, Corinna.
Let me see if I can find it right now. So that's really great to bring up. It's better defining, you know, what you need to do for Sandbox, but I'll go look in the issues, see if I can find it before we get off this call. We
Yeah,
had a
that'd be
whole
great.
like spreadsheet and, you know, everything. So, all right, let me go look.
Yeah, I posted one thing that's in the talks, you know, under their process folder. Sometimes there's good stuff, the due diligence guidelines and things like that. So that might be something to look at. Yeah, so I guess everyone, though, we're not, in terms of like, would we recommend to talk to take IO Flow as a CNCF project? I lean to kind of yes. I'm a little concerned on the cloud native aspect. I think that might be what they bring up too. So I don't know. We could mention that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to give a
Okay.
recommendation right now because I don't know the exact like what's important for sandbox project to be a successful sandbox project. So I would like to look at that first and then give my
Okay.
recommendation.
Yeah, thanks for bearing with
Okay.
us, Mayur.
We can talk about that async and then in the issue also. I don't think that's a.
Yep,
I
I agree.
agree.
That's for now. Okay, yeah, thank you so much, Mayur and team. This is a really great overview. We'll post the video. We'll get the deck to include, post these notes. We'll share it on the talk, on the sandbox issue as well. And the recommendation and something. We'll see if we put a recommendation or not. Yeah, and then I think you guys are up December 12th, maybe in the next review with the oversight committee. But we'll keep an eye on that.
Sure. Thank you. So for any like suggestions or recommendations for us to make it, like anything from your side, like what we need to for the next steps, basically.
If you wanted to increase the cloud nativeness of it, I guess a little more attention to those DevOps and app delivery workflows. Maybe a Kubernetes CRD also that would, like, for me, that I don't know, it's a little funny. It doesn't really change how it works, but it brings it a little closer to the cloud native ecosystem. So that would make a difference for me. Yeah, consider especially if you do touch on the DevOps space a little more, the CD events stuff, make sure you adhere to that. That's a nice win for you. Yeah, I like how you differentiated from Kepton and Argo workflows by saying your business processes and a lot of your languages around that. So I think that's actually kind of cool. That's new for us. Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got a few more minutes here on the meeting. If there's anything else, I know some folks joined in the middle of that. We did at the beginning talk about KubeCon plans and a couple updates from our work groups. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up? Karina, Leanne, I'm especially looking at you.
I just posted in chat. So we're putting together a sheet for KubeCon, kind of more FAQ on what the recommendations were, and then kind of going forward with the projects, moving levels from that task force. But here's the criteria grid that will help. So it hasn't been completely approved, et cetera, but this is what we presented to the TOC a few weeks back. And I'll drop in that presentation here too, if everybody wants to look at it.
That's great. Thank you. This is really thorough.
Yeah, thank you, Karina. I kind of feel like you're our representative in this space. So thank you for bringing this.
I dropped the ball, brought it up. Thank you. But that'll help with at least sandbox criteria and seeing what, eventually
maybe
we'll be looking for.
We can
This will
borrow
also
this.
then be helpful for the team itself, right? You take a look at this doc and see if there's something that you can improve upon or implement if you don't have that yet.
Yeah, that's going to help us do the reviews. Good stuff.
It's meant to be a self-service checklist for project teams. So then when we go through sandbox and incubation, graduation, people are better prepared. So it's perfect to bring that up.
Okay, so if there's no other things to discuss, we can wrap up a couple minutes early.
I just have one quick thing. Sorry to harsh everyone's mellow. For the flyers for KubeCon, I saw that Abby had something, but I don't know if this is the one that we want to go with. I haven't seen the details of Abby's flyer, so I was just wondering, should I still do them? Should I still work on them, or has Abby done everything and I can just chill?
You want to ping her? I've just been letting her run
Okay.
with it.
Cool. Yeah, no worries. All good. When is the do you have any idea, Josh, when is the last day that we need to order them so we can have them in Chicago
Yeah,
on
let's
time?
ask Abby, because maybe she's just gonna pick them up. Nobody mentioned to me since we've talked about it that I should pick them up. So I'm thinking either she's not doing it or she's got it all figured out.
No worries. I'll talk to Abby.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, and then the for the hybrid experience, the hack hybrid, I will also ping you directly, Josh.
Yeah, I was gonna
And when
try
you
to
have the
find.
cameras.
No, yeah, I've got a camera. I've got myself a little lavalier mic it's a couple different mics that I'm
Nice.
gonna put out. So I figured out how to use OBS, Open Broadcaster software.
Awesome.
So, and I create, yeah. So hopefully it's gonna work. We'll see.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for my end.
I wish I could be there. Leon, are you going to be there?
No,
No,
that's
it's
why
not.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, if Josh
Okay.
can do the recording, then on my end I can help, like, streamline maybe, like, for the people who are at home
Oh,
watching
yeah.
from far away.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I guess we can publicize a little more. It's a soft launch of this. I haven't
Exactly.
told people that we're going to
Um,
broadcast.
Since we have a couple minutes, because I got distracted looking at the schedule. If it works, it'd be cool to maybe do the same for some of the other, booth times for the presentations. Do like a
Like a stream.
special one-off
Yeah.
stream or something. It's a thought. And then my other note
try.
was I'm going to bring some swag. We don't have time to like put stickers on it, but we could use it as a raffle at the booth. If that works. So just during the times when people come and for presentations and stuff. But like I already told Josh, what's that?
I was gonna say, if I have time, I'll make that little booth crawl sheet that Abby had been talking about, where if you go to the project pavilion to these 15 projects that are in app delivery and come back, you're entered in the raffle. I don't know. We'll see if I can do that.
I really like that idea because I already told Josh I only have a little bit higher ticket items. I don't have like smaller things right now, at least not in my house. So I can bring some Bluetooth headphones and things like that. Hammocks, should I bring one of those travel hammocks? Whatever. All right.
Everybody loves swag. They don't differentiate
I don't
too
care.
much. But on this point, like, we're down to the wire with Chicago. I mean, it's always down to the wire because we're just however much we can do. But if you want to think about Paris already, Leanne, you going to Paris? Hopefully all of our Europe compatriots will be there.
Yeah,
So
hopefully. We're doing the Cube train where we're trying to hire like trains to drive us from European cities to KubeCon, like sponsored train things. So that would be sad if I did that and did not have a ticket for KubeCon.
yeah.
Yeah, hopefully so.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just
yeah.
mentioning because you could start thinking about these things earlier if you want. I wish we did this, but we do what we can.
Yeah. We can have a post Chicago retro and then talk about Paris because I'm already planning for Paris and for Salt Lake City next year. So
Oh, is next year Salt Lake City?
Mhm.
Oh, we
Oh, you
have to-
haven't seen it yet? Okay. I thought it's like a huge reveal, but I just stumbled on the website.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Salt Lake City, so you know,
Oh, okay.
go from his hometown to
I can't
where
wait
I
to
live.
visit.
Nice.
Definitely a reason to get out there next year. Is it going to be whatever? All right, we got to go. I'll talk to you about it.
But I know I gotta go
All right,
kick off the other call, but yeah.
Talk on
All
Slack.
right.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you all. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.